Here are your notes for two-way tables. First key term that we need to go over is called relative frequency. And that is a ratio or fraction of a subtotal over a total. Okay, so basically we just write it as a fraction. It can be represented as a decimal or a percent, but the way to find it is making a ratio first. Okay, that is one of the things we're going to use with these two-way tables. And you might be asking, what is a two-way table? Well, here is our definition of a two-way table. A two-way table shows data from one sample group as it relates to two different categories. Okay, and so we will be making a table. So most of these problems that you'll be faced with will be story problems or word problems. So I would recommend that you use the strategy of the 3 reads. Read it a few times. First time, read it just for context. Do you even understand the context of the problem? Then the second time you read it, go through and identify key terms and values. And then the third time, you go ahead and start trying to figure out a way to solve the problem or see what they're asking you to solve and start solving it. All right, so here we go. Here is our example that we're going to use right here. It says, example, there are 150 children at camp. 71 signed up for swimming. There are a total of 62 children that signed up for canoeing, and 28 of them signed up for swimming. So the first time we read it, we just see this is a situation in which there are children at a camp who are signing up for activities, and the activities are swimming and canoeing. So that's the first time we read it. Now the next time we go through this paragraph, we're looking for key terms. And what I'm going to suggest is that you circle the values and underline what those values mean or what they stand for. Okay, so we start from the top. So I would have you circle 150, and 150 represent the children in the camp. So I will underline children at the camp. Then we go to 71, and what the 71s represent, that represents the children who signed up for swimming. Okay, so I would circle 71, underline swimming. Then there are a total of 62 children, so 62 circle, that signed up for canoeing, so 62 goes with canoeing. And then 28 of them signed up for swimming, so the 28 is for canoeing and swimming. It goes together, and we'll look at what that means in just a moment. So our next step is creating our table. So now that you have all your values circled and underlined, we're going to go ahead and start filling in some of these table, or fill in the table. So go ahead and draw your table. So the first thing you have to think of, what are the two categories? And we know it's swimming and canoeing. So I have my first row is swimming, and my first column is canoeing. Then it's no canoeing, no swimming right here. And we can add on this last column and row with totals. So we go back, and now we're going to start filling this in by reading our problem or our story or situation a third time. 150 children, that's what we're focused in on because we circled and underlined. 150 children, what is that? That is a total. So the total goes here because this is where we have the total for swimming and the total for canoeing, 150. Next up, we have 71 signed up for swimming. So where is swimming? Swimming is this row right here. So how many signed up for swimming? 71 total children signed up for swimming. So that's why the 71 goes in that box. Next, we have a total of 62 children signed up for canoeing. Well, where's canoeing? Canoeing's here. So the total for canoeing goes down in this box here. We have 62. And then we have this 28. Remember we said 28 was canoeing and swimming. So where would canoeing and swimming go? Where canoeing and swimming is in this box here. So this is where we get our 28. So now that we have these 4 values in our box or our two-way table, we can use our existing values to find the missing values. So the way we do it is we look at rows and columns, and if we have two values out of the three, we can always find the third value. So if we went around swimming, well, if there's 71 total and 28 of them want to swim and canoe, we can figure out how many don't want to canoe but still want to swim by taking 71 and subtracting 28, and that's going to give us 43. Here with canoeing, we know there were 62 total students who wanted to canoe, 28 of them who wanted to swim. So we can find out how many want to canoe and not swim by subtracting 62 minus 28. And what does that give us? That gives us 34. Okay? And then we have our totals here. We have a total of 71 students who wanted to swim, and we have 150 total students. So out of the 71, how many did not want to swim? We would go ahead and subtract 150 minus 71, giving us 79. Same thing over here. We had a total here of 62 who wanted to canoe and 150 total students. So how many did not want to canoe? Well, you take the 150 and subtract the 62, giving us what? 88. And lastly, we can find this one of two ways. We can either use the swimming row, or we use the no swimming row or the no canoeing column. Either way, so let's go column. So we had a total of 88 and 43. So we will subtract 88 minus 43, giving us what? 45. So once you have the numbers filled into your table, you can make sure your table is complete correctly by making sure that the sums add up in all the rows and all the columns. You could do that mentally. It's like 28 plus 43, does that equal 71? Yes, it does. 34 plus 45, does it equal 79? Yes. 62 plus 88, does it equal 150? Yes, it does. And then the columns. 28 plus 34, that equals 62. 43 plus 45, that equals 88. And 71 plus 79 equals 150. So as long as the rows and columns all add up to their totals, you filled it in correctly. That's a way to check your way. Now that's one type of problem. They just want you to fill out the two-way table. The other type is they're going to have you fill out the table and then find what's known as the relative frequencies, as I mentioned earlier in the notes. And remember, relative frequencies are the ratios or the fractions of the subtotal and the total. So I just kind of shorthanded right here. We have S and C. S and C stands for swimming and canoeing. Well, how many wanted to swim and canoe? 28. And what do we put that over? We put that over the total. And what's our total? Well, I have totals all over the place, but the total we want is the total number of campers or children. So that's 150. So we're going to put 28 over 150. And since it's a fraction, we could simplify it when possible. So 28 and 150 are both even numbers, so we could divide by 2, giving us 14 over 75. And that's all we can go, because 2, 7, and 14 can divide into 14, but none of those numbers divide into 75. So that's it. Here we have swimming and no canoeing. So where is that? Swimming and no canoeing right there. So that's 43. So we're going to do 43 over 150. And 43 is a prime number, so this is as much as it's going to simplify. No swimming, that's this row right here. No swimming and no canoeing, that's 45. So we're going to go 45 over 150. These two numbers can actually be divided by 5, because it ends in 5 and 0. So I get 9 over 30. And then these two numbers can be divided by 3. So I get 3 over 10. And then that was that frequency right there. And then here we have no swimming and canoeing. So no swimming and canoeing, that's 34. So we're going to go 34 over 150. They're both even, so divide by 2. Gives me 17 over 75. 17's prime, so we leave that just like that. So that is your notes for two-way tables. So go ahead and try the homework practice or the independent practice.